separated from my son. So I do it so that I am always available and will be used. So I don't get separated from my grandson.
She's with me 6 months.
My grandson is 26 months.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can kindly take your seats, we're going to get back together. And I'll draw you in with some magic. Here, hold on a second. Where the hell did that thing go? Thank you, thank you.
Let's get started, folks.
Thank you, Lena. Well, yeah, I can clear a room like nobody else can. All right, thank you so much. We're back. I could keep on doing that if I wanted to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Let me just read the list.
Rode, Mr. Rode. John.
So in the second half, we have John Rhodes, then Christian, Kevin Reinhardt, Melissa Garrett, Bill Klein, John Klein, the brothers. I can't make out this other one. Then we got Greg Pond, and then Top Ratings as the Crucial the Super Duper Bulldozer of the evening. All right, so.
The other one is a new person, I think.
This one?
Sue.
Oh, Sue. Sorry. Then there's Sue in there. I forgot.
I don't know. Maybe it's not Sue. Yeah,
we'll find out.
SVZ.
SVZ. All right.
So, will John kindly come forward, please? Give John a round of applause as he comes and takes the mic and gives us what, 4 or 5. Give us what you got.
Okay, so I'll just give the title I have here. I don't know what it's an arbitrary title. Voices in a Cave or Cue of Rooming. Summon the spirit in my cubicle. Quantify the empty cup. Lesser is better. Fulfill travel beyond. Go through St. Peter's Gate. He stands in my mind. Meager. Mick Jagger at the living end, a beggar's feast in a cloud. Meet fate head on, even when the end endlessly moves on, as if it is one step ahead of you. I must try to be one step ahead of myself at all times. The silver platter that is held up to the light in front of the window. You can't swallow your pride when you say, holy cow. Pour your own self a cup of Omar Khayyam's spirit. Only a mist or ghost, though. Those who reason always commit a treason. You will take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Now that you know the inside of this box, you may know the outside. Stop rooming. The crooked walking caveman craves food cooked in his crock. He stole the recipe from the Brooklyn Brave. Incense deprivation leaves a trail. He stays off his chores in favor of wars. With blue-eyed men who make candles that are an archetypical father laid claim to needlessly, well, it ravels on there. And also, if you can help support my video channels and stuff, I'd appreciate it. I gave out a bunch of papers of my new address, and I need to raise like $160 in like 2 weeks. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, John.
Christian, and followed by Kevin Reinhardt. Kevin, if you are here, want to sit in the on-deck chair, please.
Well, it appears that most of you were awake in 1980.
Yeah. I have to think back. I'm not sure.
That day, the one-night stand stood still. Lenin takes a bullet, and the Soviets shake religion out of the cobwebs. Yet, one heron, a single tern, and an ibis no longer migrate. On their archipelago of souls. It doesn't matter what island one's on. Mangroves drink the humid air. Clouds pirouette in the breeze. Shunned by junior flocks, these mateless retirees are rooted to the sand within a few feet of each other, still and mute as dead dogs on a forsaken hill of bones.
Nice.
A full-grown Chernecco service dog was sitting at attention between an old man and a bench in front of the Golden Gate Park Arboretum. A young woman broke her stride to pet it. A loyal servant pooh-poohed her. But when an emaciated young man in a dated and unpressed dark suit began to wail on his clarinet at the entrance of a nearby tunnel, a golden-haired guardian of Levantine origin began to howl with the sincerity of Kulsum. The mock duet strains carried to the pup tent on Hippie Hill, rousing the Hate Street Sadhu. He staggered out, trailed by his red dreadlocks, arms splayed as if he were carrying 2 buckets full of stew to the soup kitchen at the east end of the Panhandle. Sauntering side to side like an old freight train, he transformed the narrow park extension into a channel oozling in from a vast sea. In it he hallucinated a Viking longship with a dragon carved into the prow and naked wenches hanging off the starboard rail. Dolphins were dancing in its wake, and an albatross swooped down to offer. So as time passes, you expect change, yet you only become what you were.
Thank you, Christiane. And now Kevin.
Followed by Melissa.
It's not your first time here.
Melissa,
You can. Oh no, you.
the on-deck chair, if you will, here.
Oh! All right, let me just raise this up a bit and make sure you have it the way you like it. It's twisted bit
That's
here.
why I like it, Dan.
That's how you like it,
I
twisted?
got it, I got it.
Check this out. Chinese hat, Chinese beer. Years of practice. Went to a nightclub in Helsinki with a friend of mine. And this is what happened. It's called Tribute to Neil Young. She went for the disabled pool player who was taking a bit too long over his shot. But I wasn't a disabled pool player, so I did nothing. She went for the David Lee Roth clone in bandana and mascara, but my allergy to peroxide aside, my thighs aren't even in the same zip code as his jeans, so I did nothing. She went for the 50-year-old Motorhead fan with pigtails, but the half of our marriage that would stand for Lemmy was back in London, trying on a variety of hats and silk scarves, so I did nothing. She went for the Welsh lawyer with glasses. I went out for a cigarette. By the time she started pulling the hair off the rock chick who was leaning back, elbows on the bar, chest out, the band on stage might as well have been Big Star. When they started playing Like a Hurricane, she was nowhere to be seen, amidst the broken glass, vomit, and screaming prom queens of either sex.
Yeah, that's a real good visual.
We are all ghosts. All the rainbows have been packed up and stored in the attic for another year. We are all ghosts. There is no sound from the traffic. Joggers don't get out of the way on the pavement. We just pass through each other. But to be fair, that might just be a Soma thing. We are all ghosts. No amount of Bloody Mary will restore a semblance of colour. We are all ghosts. the Sub Pop satchels, the Sonic Youth t-shirts, the merchandising table of cassettes. We are all ghosts. The acoustic guy on stage used to be in a band that got Single of the Week in Rolling Stone before Destiny's Child dominated the front cover. We are all ghosts. At the centre of Coachella, Lionel Richie invokes a mass exorcism. Yay, jumbo jumbo! Condemning into a void 1 million boys and girls, all day glow face painted, doing that peace sign thing. I feel the heat of their souls being consumed by the abyss. Though it's not enough to evaporate that white wine spritzer, which I've been staring at now for the past 3/4 of an hour. What was that, Kev? More true stories. This is do the New Orleans poem, Kev. Do the New Orleans poem. It's about being in New Orleans. It's called "Go to the Voodoo That You Do." Drinking it for somebody who can spot the film. Newly arrived in New Orleans following a 14-hour flight, my body dictates that I am up at 3:30 a.m. after a sleep that can be measured in minutes. I check in vain, shake the pillow. Sadly, it is empty of sleep, so I am resigned to heading out at such an hour. Silently, I wish not to stir my wife's serenity as she lays there, hands clasped across her breasts. Cool and still as the marble she may as well be laid out on. I shall find a magnolia to place between her fingertips, just to find out what her sense of humour is like after a sound night's sleep. Walking barefoot on the embers of the night before heightens my awareness of the nocturnal about me. I take in Lafayette Cemetery, envy at its hushed slumber, where even the undead seem to have had a better night's rest than I have. The dimly lit 24-hour bar frequented by vampires, who take refuge, not from the impending dawn, but joggers, then again, whose self-righteousness, single-mindedness threaten to stake right through them, and the Chinese laundrette manned by a solitary old lady diligently working through a succession of black capes. But the real black magic in this town belongs to the sun, a friend to nobody. At its height, it rains down death rays of annihilating heat, indiscriminate and without conscience for those withering unfortunates caught straying from the pack in a no-man's land without shade. Its intensity is enough to open the portal to hell, known to locals as Bourbon Street, where the screaming of the damned runs into eternity. The constipated men who moan about Mustang Sally, and God only knows, and I'd like it to stay this way, what they're doing to the women who are forced to scream like Mariah Carey. Seeking solace amongst the numerous psychics and tarot readers in Jackson Square amounts to little more than mocking folly, and only serves to exacerbate any heat-induced paranoia. My friend, peeling an orange is like kissing the wings off a squirrel. And if you can't find your teeth, that's because your dead grandmother has them. If you want them back, you head on over to Lucky Pierre's drag cabaret show, where she'll return them to you come the light of Jesus. It turns out Lucky Pierre's is a hall of mirrors where gender and identity are strangers to one another. Pole dancing drag queens lip-syncing to Lady Gaga whip dollar bills from the mouths of women dressed like men who kneel before them. To excruciating embarrassment, our host and tormentor orders us to whoop and holler like the bitches that you are. The noise of last year's most annoying chart hits. The light, louder than the noise. The near miss of the non-eye contact the retina cannot unsee. I feel the world is no longer mine. The lights fade. This may well be it. And then the darkness. My face rises from the table as I see emerging from behind the stage curtain Elizabeth Taylor lip-syncing to Jim Reeves. Welcome to my world, won't you come on in? Her kindly violet gaze lights a path towards the entrance, now open. It is dusk. I can taste my now bleeding lips as the church bells ring. The slight flutter and swish of a cape brushes my face, bringing me to my senses. The streets are empty. It is quiet, but for the menacing throb and hum of the still, warm sidewalks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're from England, right?
I'm from England. I'll be back next week. I'm working here for 2 weeks and I'm training horse.
Oh, so you're
Right.
for my birthday. My birthday's next week.
Is it? Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Awesome, let's do this.
Yeah.
Damn.
22. Do I look 22?
Melissa Miller.
Melissa Miller, give her a nice round of applause. She hasn't been here in a while. He said, come on back. And she came back. Now, it's not my problem. I didn't do it. It's not my... All right. You ready?
Oh, you were able to find a place.
And Garrett Murphy, you're up next.
You live where?
I live in a van.
Oh. Is it a good band?
You're
Good
next.
van.
Okay. Just be close to me.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Right.
How's everybody doing?
I'm glad you're good.
Side of palm slides across page, smudges wet ink, gives illusion that words continue after stopping. How can such delicate abstractions like lines on page or breath on ear hold weight after release? Across the room, a light fixture hangs, suspended from chain in a birdcage. Everyone is looking at a computer screen. Why do we feel compelled to capture that which cannot be contained? No, our bodies are not our design. Perhaps that explains why sitting with stillness can be hard for you, or anyone. Outside, the sky is falling monotonously. Until now, I never noticed how water droplets collected on windows reflect tiny upside-down likenesses of the world. Until now, I never noticed how love is a perpetual mix-up between a bridge and drowning and floating away in every direction. There's something about the vastness of the desert, you said, the way the sky opens up. Stars poised like so many dust particles in a beam of light at dawn or dusk. And it is more aromatic than desolate, a sharp, sweet shrapnel smell when the rain comes, oily like leather, like tobacco bitter pungencies. I pick up earth, bones and bullets, a mother, bunch for the sensing. To render barrenness is to deny a cusp, a wing, and the sadness, deep as canyons run, is no excuse for death. A quick plasma pop sends embers shooting into ash, where fire once flickered as necessity, entranced onlookers heartily asked respect. There are now greedy screens, irreverently beaming thieves. Rusted hatchet blade on splintered wooden handle rests among boxes of kindling. We are not built solely for city living. Safety is the riptide breath of a slumbering dog, the tinny whistle of a hummingbird, every corpse pose and inevitable ending, a part of a gun. Fragility falls off like a Band-Aid on wet skin if you let it. You hold on to your saguaro boot canteen by its dead woody ribs and drink. I was gonna come last week, but I was finishing this. It's called And the Echoing. 1. When I was a girl, my grandmother won the lottery. She took trips to Florida and brought us back gifts. A plastic toy alligator I played with in the bath, and a plastic baggie containing a starfish. The insert read, "Sea stars aren't really fish." And I dropped it, kicked it right under my bed, where my cat, Zephyr, immediately dove and ate it. 2. From my great-grandmother, I inherited the skull of a catfish shaped like a crucifix. When shaken gently, there is a rattle of calcium stones in the hollows where the ears once were. I remember perching it upon a shelf in an empty bedroom, next to the fragile emerald carapace of a dead cicada and part of a squirrel jawbone, teeth intact. 3. I dreamt of a past lover again last night. She pushed through a sea of people to get to me. She said, "Mine," and I glimpsed a hunger in her teeth like a shark's as she smiled before she kissed me. I woke, saw our cage rattled and bitten. 4. You recently asked me if I'd want to be a shark, using electroreception to detect nerve impulses, hearing low-frequency hums discharged by dying fish, or a dolphin, emitting sound waves from an organ called melon, teeth acting as antennas to receive the echoing back from the sea. And I answered dolphin, and you should know that yes, it is for pleasure, and it is also because you make my teeth pulse, and it is also because I've grown bone-tired of fishing blindly for heartbeats in open seas, no echoing. 5. The sea star has a vascular system of salt water rather than blood. Imagine what it must feel like to be completely filled with the very molecules that surround you.
All right.
That's all scientifically accurate, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It is not, that was not fake news.
Next we have Garrett Murphy, followed by the Klein brothers.
And then looks like someone Suze or
Sue, SVC,
Oh,
Sue.
Sue, right? Susie.
Oh, S-U-Z-I.
Okay.
Or Suze, did you put Suze? Is that Suze? Okay.
We'll go with what you say, because otherwise
We'll get it.
we can be confused here. I also put my name at the top of the manuscript. Anyway, did we give him a round of applause? This guy is great. He comes in here all the time. Love it.
Name is Garrett Murphy. Name of this first piece is No Arts Allowed. We advocates of simple human decency and tradition are most in arms about this terrible phenomenon, which we thought we had finally vanquished with our focus upon businesses and MBAs and science proper decency. Remember, the business of America is business after all. Alas, this evil called the arts has despoiled our souls and conscience yet again. Blotches of graffiti all over our walls, photos and portraits and subjects not to be exposed to our simple, moral, traditional family values, stories now abounding about how singles and other undesirables and untouchable and untouchables in our decent society, oral garbage, ranting being passed off as poetry or musical, and such disrespect for law and order and authority. Why, we would not be caught dead displaying anything but worship of such. Remember to work them. That is our motto, with a touch of haze to boot. But the most asinine corruption of all our morality, and the one thing we decent, moral, traditional humans despise, is all the movement, movement. So therefore, dear citizen, we must put a stop to all this drunkenness anarchy. So please, please, please don't allow the artists in here. Oh no, you see, the arts are contagious, and now we are getting the urge. Pay no attention to our early stages. No, we must pay attention and fast. We must vanquish its aberration before it takes over us all, so please, please, please don't fall for our above nonsense. Mario Woods has his day. The San Francisco Police Officers Association, in a recent public performance concerning the execution of one Mario Woods, displayed solidarity in their usual petulance, even after being given the chance to go first when the supporters of Woods were listening. As soon as POA was done whimpering about how so few of the populace would give them accolades for killing yet another man of color, not to mention a proposed Board of Supervisors bill honoring a day for Mario Woods, SF's supposed finest walks off in a huff, but not before threatening the soups with all kinds of damnation. That warning did accomplish one thing, a most pleasant surprise. It united the soups into acting as one, namely to make that day for our Mr. Woods the no-pun law of the land. In a futile attempt to save their performance, the POA wails and waterworks the empty head about what about the officers who die in the line of duty. Someone neglected to tell the POA leadership that many officers do have various days, overpasses, intersections, and others named for them for dying in the line of duty. Now it's long overdue for someone to be honored who happened to die in the line of missed duty. And it's just in, infantries and babies, including the crybabies, are considering joining forces to sue the SFPOA for the defaming impersonation of their characters. Imprisoned outside his cell. Let's talk about a special kind of prison, one that's so insidious most inmates don't know that they're in it, or know that they are their own correction officers. One's eyes and ears are more oblivious of their sentence than they would be to their own surroundings. The local color of the inmates and the language is as ripe as one might expect from a more obvious can. This is a jail that will never be on lockup, nor will it ever confuse orange with black. It is tighter than the most maximum of securities, and yet can be broken free from with the mildest of ease. So come on, all you inmates, ease your way back into the outside world and get off that there cell phone.
I told you.
All right, Bill and John Klein, you're up.
Well, Bill's going first and then John, right?
Oh, you're going separately. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. I wasn't clear about that. It's fine. Okay.
I'm the
And
other.
are you new here? Have you?
Actually, this is the first time I've been here.
Okay, that means we give him a really loud, vulgar round of applause. Come on, Bill. Raise the thing.
It's my brother invited me here, and whatever. My father grew up here. He was born. I titled this "Coming Home with Sevens." My father was born 1907. That's 110 years ago. And when he was around 7, he lived on Clayton Street. And then somewhere later, let's see, 1917, and then in 1937, my brother John was born. Then I was born, and I'm 77. And then I started, and I was born 77 years ago in Buena Vista Heights, so you say, are you new here? And then I returned from Vietnam to here in 1967, 50 years ago, and I consider that my beginning of my personal quest for peace. And then 30 years ago, in 1987, I got married, and we're still 30 years later happily married. And
You better start.
so, and I used to live down on Hayes and Masonic, so this is all just very surprisingly coming home. So I just thought I'd play it.
Yeah.
Oh, so put your name and the name of the song there so I can attribute it to that. Just do everything there, same thing.
What was it
There we
called?
And now Brother John Klein.
How are things in Guacamora?
Yeah,
Right?
no, that's correct.
Finian's Rainbow, yes, yes.
Yep, Harvard.
All right, come on up, buddy.
Would you like the mic at your voice or at your guitar?
I just on the voice, I guess. Or even, I don't know. I can
You can But if you're gonna do that, you gotta get really close to the mic to get it.
Close as you can get comfortably.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played. And please the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It went like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor, all the major fifth, the apple came composing hallelujah. Strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah. Maybe I've been here before, I've known these rooms and walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I saw your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march, it's a cold, it's a broken hallelujah. 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 They say I took a name in vain. I didn't even know your name, and if I did, well, really, what's it to you? I saw your name in a blaze of light. It's, you know, let's try another verse. Somebody who's seen the light, it's a cold, cold and broken hallelujah. Okay, I'll do the last one.
There you go.
I've done my best, it wasn't much, I tried it to feel, but I couldn't touch. I told the truth, I didn't come to fool ya. But even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
And now, Suze, who is new. Give her a round of applause. Come on, people. Come on.
And then Greg Pond afterwards.
Then Greg Pond, our mini, and then we got the
And
super
Trump rabies,
the super duper closer thing. Welcome here.
Thank you so much. It's my first time coming here, so I'm a little nervous, but very excited.
Only a little nervous? We can make you more nervous.
I am. My heart's
Hey,
racing.
hey, hey.
I'm sorry.
So I don't
Get
know
as
how
close
many.
as you can to the microphone.
Yeah, so I don't
That's
know how
good.
many of you have experienced online dating, but online dating is inspiration, I guess. And this is a real dialogue between 1 and 2. 1 is I, 2 is he.
All right.
It's titled The Moon Egg. 1. A road to nowhere is a start to somewhere. 2. A start is a star, cool and mute, winking with a secret. 1. A secret? I want to tell you, but I don't want you to know. 2. A secret. If you could hear it, the moon would split open like an egg. 1. A cracked egg, a golden divide, destined to collide, the moon egg. 2. The moon egg, now a hatch plan, a match detached, wants to be patched again. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I just
Good start, good start.
Good start. That come back. I like that.
And now, the mini.
The mini feature.
The Maxi mini feature.
He's here tonight.
Greg Pond, you will be amazed in a few minutes if you're not been amazed already. I'm amazed, and I haven't even know what I'm talking about. Well, we're going to start all over again.
Greg, you're not that tall.
Do you have your book with you?
I think I have one.
Okay, he has a book. So in case you want to see him after, you can ask me, can I buy your book?
Say no. No, of course not. Okay. These are not in the book or anything in either book. Bookstore is dying. The bookstores are all dying.
Yep.
They've closed a different light. Stacy's, Marcus, Borders, and also Modern Times. Now we kindle in Nook, but we buy fewer books, and most that we do are online. The bookstores are all dying. A few chains now rule the lot. Valhalla, Adobe, and Borderland have closed up their shops. But we're mostly too busy to notice at all, to read the room, read the tea leaves, let alone the writing on the wall. I guess that's one of the downsides to living in these modern times. It also seems we've stopped bothering to even read between the lines, because it's easier to read them online.
Yeah, good line.
Spy this guy. I spy this guy who's kind of good looking and kind of been looking at me. And since I've been looking for any attention to come my way, it's been a long time. I was thinking I'd step outside of the comfort of my zone and boldly drop a casual smile in hopes that it might find a home or shine a little light between his face and mine. Thinking once I get the chance to capture his glance, I'll know which cards to play and just what to say. But find each time my eyes take aim, he can sense the intensity of my gaze and quickly looks the other way. Now, I can tell he's really trying with nonchalant display to ignore my staring eyes. So I keep watching. Until he eventually looks back at me and locks his eyes with mine. Then, finally, at that precious moment, when I have its full attention and I'm ready with something very cool and clever to say. Life throws me a silent curve. Suddenly I find I've lost all my nerve. And I'm trying to catch the damn cat that just snatched my tongue away.
I can tell by the applause that hit a nerve out.
I think Sue said she was very nervous. No, I come here all the time and look at me. This is typical. But anyway,
Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa. It's been a long stream of days, but just to be clear, I still feel near even though I'm oceans away. Long distance from you and thus from the cradle of life and truth. Am I destined to pay the price the seasoned man pays when the innocence of youth is crippled with old age, and he reaches back, Sankofa style, to return to the black of his roots? Oh, Africa, it's been a long course of months from the source where all civilization began. The genesis of heaven and earth, oceans, plants, animals, and the birth of man. Now look what they've done to you. Brutalized your indigenous, staggered your economies, and ravaged your land. In the end, you've been treated the same by kin and enemy. Oh, Africa, it's been a long river of years since our forefathers first bathed in your waters. But as the global clock moves on, we now fear it's been so long and we've grown too strong in our Western ways to realize how far we've actually strayed from your shores, your sons and daughters, scattered across Caribbean within South Central North American borders. Oh, Africa, for all these many centuries, we may have been lost in a dream. But no matter what they say, there's no way I'd ever believe we should be seen as immigrants or refugees. We were captured against our will. A slave trade is quoted to fill. We had no choice. We had no voice. We had not wanted to leave. Instead, we're forced, then bought and sold like cattle and horse to help build the land of the free. Oh, Africa. After all these lost ages and miles of twisted history, what can we do to prove to you that we'll always be part of the diasporic tapestry? We can't reverse the hands of time, but we can reestablish a connection that rings from continent to nation to community, then back to tribe. One that flows through our collective souls along the path of the conscious mind, destined to come back to you. Oh, Africa, divine. And one last little baby poem called Eggman. I ain't no Humpty Dumpty baby. I'm the omelet in your dreams. I'm the scrambled man in your frying pan. And you know exactly what that means.
All right, so I know we have a number of people who are new here and or who have not seen our next performer, so please be aware of awareness and spare your minds, etc. So,
are you going to introduce me?
oh yes, I was going to. Trump Brady is about to perform a signature piece, please.
answers. And then life raped me of all the questions. Or how I stopped worrying and learned to love Pura Donald Trump. Donald Trump hired me as your sex apprentice. Don't betray our love for politics turned showbiz. Who cares how high the rent Putin pays on your booty is? I want to give birth to Trump babies. Want to itch with Trump brand scabies. I'm running crazy in our streets with Trump political rabies. Oh, Donald, take me away from rabble. Right, cut your tones of your babble, because you speak in a tortured ideological scrabble, while the media mangle and grope and grapple. Listening to you is like hearing Adam eat the apple, spraying juice all over himself like a mango snapple. Oh, don't build a wall between your heart and mine, you Republican queen. I promise, me raping you is just a dream. It's true. I do want to immigrate into you, you sexy man. Don't worry, I'm 100% not Mexican. So please, with that again. Hillary Clinton, she can barely be tolerated, let alone elected. Oh, Donald Trump, I want to finger and stroke that dead yellow animal taxidermied and entombed on his head. While we lie in the Waldorf Astoria presidential suite's bed, Congress hears of our passionate thrills. I'm sure they'll have Goldman Sachs pay our room service bills. His politics are heinous, and his policies pain us. But I want his maniacal rhetoric shoved up my anus.
Forward.
It won't hurt for long. Less than a decade of Donald Trump tears. At most 8 years of realized Donald Trump fears. So Donald, fuck us and your fits of fascism. Piss on us with your wit and your wisdom. And your red duct tape. Choke us with your words until we're sick. Donald Trump, you suck! So why not my dick?
This is a paid political announcement.
I firmly believe we're about to have a successful Trump-opposed police state or win the last weeks of the Trump administration. What comes next is worse. President Prince or the presidency of the generals. The 25th Amendment may be invoked shortly. I don't think this sideshow is going to go on longer in this mode, but the next mode is going to be a lot tougher. Thank you for watching tonight.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now. Oh no, yeah, no, oh yeah, So,
Yes? No.
yes, that's good.